Hello everyone and now welcome to a game. This is from the WGL Winter 2020 season. This is going to be 120 versus Fortitude in this matchup as the game is already getting underway. Gonna go turn on the lights. Not quite sure if it really helps the camera or not. Good morning everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying everything as we are looking at 120 spawning or 120 spawning as the red undead over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Fortitude all the way over here to the top right-hand side of the map as the pink or the teal human. A little bit confused for a second. Yes, that is in fact two peasants building at this altar of kings, which will mean we are going to have the archmage coming out a little bit faster. What else does it mean? It means that, uh, Fortitude is going to be a little bit behind in terms of gold and lumber as we're looking at the peasants now, starting to work overtime, trying to get a little bit more gold going, and we should be getting some footmen out onto the field. A little bit of a cost benefit analysis, whether to see if those extra seconds really help out all that much. You do end up forced trying to rebuild or speed build these additional buildings here to try and keep up on your peasant count and your footman count as we see this farm being sped built as well. What is the significance of 120 in Chinese, by the way? I really don't know. Like, I've seen 169, I've seen like all of those other names. I don't know the significance of 120 culturally. Ethnically, I'm Chinese, but culturally, I'm very American. So I'd have to ask my wife for those particular details. Archmage out 10 seconds sooner than I would have normally when you would have normally have seen. There you go, going straight after that renegade wizard. Are we gonna see a lightning shield? No lightning shield onto that water elemental as we're looking at the renegade wizard getting taken down very, very fast. Death Knight already on its way out across the map, wanting to put pressure, but it's gonna pretty much realize that, wait a second, this creep camp was cleared out very quickly. Death Knight, is it gonna spot this? No. Footman of Fortitude, saying, oh, there is a quick ensnare right there. This could be very bad news. Will Fortitude be able to retreat back with that footman? The ensnare does take a little bit of time. There's a little bit of damage on that Death Knight. Death Knight already taking up down to 430 or 435 hit points, 427, as the units are now retreating back. All right, coming back across here, Skeleton Warrior now trying to retreat back there. And yeah, Tho always means, yeah, it stands for 3 eggs, but that's more like a picture of trying to mean, or a word trying to represent actually a picture than anything else. Acolyte looking almost getting taken down. There's a quick ensnare. The Acolyte could end up falling there. One more shot. No, gets ensnared, but not going to get finished off. Or is that Footman actually going to find it? Oh, that would be a blessing right there. No, Acolyte is going to end up getting taken out. There it goes, as the Archmage does pick up a Claws of Attack +5. Coming back across here, Archmage, is it going to try and do a quick, fast expansion attempt? No, that doesn't seem to be the case. More damage onto those skeleton minions. Death Knight trying to get more and more going, and 120. It looks like he's expecting his opponent to go for some sort of fast expansion attempt. There is a lot of peasants on lumber, but that doesn't seem to be the case. All right, a little bit of damage coming back across here. Crypt Fiends are now out onto the battlefield, and as I look at the colors a little bit more, it looks like Undead actually went for maroon as opposed to red, so maroon versus teal for those players who are more color sensitive. As we're looking at the militia now coming back across here. Death Knight now making its way back over. Are we going to see the water elemental getting taken out? No, there's a boulder, and there's a death coil trying to finish off one hit there. It looks like the Death Knight did gain a little bit of that experience. Skeletal minions now joining in on the fight as well. More boulders coming back across. Who's going to get that last bit of experience from that rock golem? There it goes. Archmage goes ahead and picks it up. Picks up one. The mana stealing denies a little bit of mana from the Death Knight. Death coil onto the peasant finishes him off as the units are now still trying to retreat back. Crypt Fiends, denying those skeletal minions at the very end right there. Archmage sitting at level 2, could have been level 3, as we see that the Wand of Mana Stealing, does end up giving a little bit more mana to that Archmage. Are we going to have the Water Elemental, yes, finish off that remainder rogue creep camp here to try and get to level 3? Level 3, very important for that level 2 Water Elemental. yeah, having just a little bit more. Thank you for the subscription, Mars. Having a little bit stronger Archmage makes a very big difference. Those water elementals able to absorb and dish out more of that damage. As we're looking at, well, Crypt Fiends trying to engage here, Footmen trying to do a little bit of disruption. Are we going to see one Footman getting taken out? It looks like no, it is not. Death Knight doesn't have enough mana, as that Footman will be retreating back off to the north here. Archmage is sitting at level 3, picks up a Cloak of Shadows, as we're looking at skeletal minions now make their way off to the north here to try and, well, put pressure onto this scout tower here before it is up and running. Skeletal minion is going to get the last shot off on that water elemental. That could be a little bit of bonus experience. No, not going to be the case. Skeletal minion is going to just go ahead and dive on in. Meanwhile, Archmage, well, looking to finish off his opponent's creep camps, picking up the items, getting an additional claws of attack +5. That is a very big difference right there. A 2 damage difference per attack, as that Archmage, well, tries to go back off to the north. Arcane Tower going to have no problem finishing off the remainder of the skeletal minion harassment. Meanwhile, there is also an Arcane Tower here, and we are still at tier 1. Good morning, good morning. As the Archmage still wanders around. Boots of Speed, a little bit more harassment coming across into play as the Death Knight does sit at level 3. Are we going to see what the Lich is right there? Are we going to see a Frost Nova? No Frost Nova. Archmage says, I don't want to be a part of any sort of engagement. Once the Frost Nova of the Lich comes on the line, escaping becomes that much more difficult, and the Archmage doesn't have that many hit points really to try and absorb it to fight back. We are looking at Footman back across here. Archmage going to perhaps pick up some, well, a Circlet of Nobility as well. So full out on items are already the Archmage, as we are now finally teching to tier 2. Lumber Mill getting added in here. A second Scout Tower getting added on as well. There's that Death Coil, Frost Nova, Water Elemental going to go ahead and drop down there as the, well, Crypt Fiends are dealing all of that damage. Oh, getting choked up by a frog. And that frog just hopped in front of the Archmage right there, stopping that horse in its tracks. Meanwhile, we are looking at the Footman trying to retreat back here, and this is just not good for Fortitude. Fortitude is in a lot of trouble. Only one Arcane Tower here trying to hold back this attack. Many of these towers are going to end up fighting here as the Water Elemental trying to push in a little bit of damage. Footmen, perhaps they have defend. No, they don't. They're just going after the Crypt Fiends there, as the Archmage has to be extremely careful. Wants to stay outside the range of that Lich and that very large burst of damage. Frost Nova, Death Coil finishing off another Footman there, as that Lich with, well, Mantle of Intelligence has a little bit more mana, and we now see an Obsidian statue here. This is that window of opportunity for 120 to really punish his opponent's expansion. He's already at tier 2. He has 2 heroes. He has an Obsidian statue for longevity to continue this push much longer than you would normally think, as another Water Elemental bites the dust. Crypt Fiend ready to push their way through, perhaps trying to take down those Scout Towers. One of the Scout Towers already going to get taken down. Another Scout Tower about to come online. And with one more Scout Tower available, that really does change things up. Again, that frog getting in the way of a Water Elemental. The human army actually, well, not benefiting from those critters at all. There are so many critters on this map. Death Coil, Frost Nova onto the Archmage, as the Archmage is going to be forced to retreat back once more. Footman trying to fall back here. 47 supply compared to 42, as 120, well, going to continue with that pressure once more. Death Knight, now having 2 Obsidian statues, should be able to just get maxed out on mana a little bit more. Wants to get at least 75 mana, and this is just one of those instances of mana management. You're trying to make sure that if the opportunity presents itself, you're able to burst down either the Archmage or a Footman and deal some sort of actual damage, and that's what we're seeing here. Archmage, on the other hand, is really pushing forward with, well, an army of Footmen and then trying to put pressure onto the main base of 120. This is actually going to get a little bit dangerous here, depending on what the Lich and the Crypt Fiends do. Is an Obsidian statue, yes, going to rejoin in on the fight here. We could see one Obsidian statue perhaps get surrounded. No, that's not going to be the case. The Destroyer already coming up online here and going to be able to perhaps try and take down some of those Water Elementals. All right, Death Knight now making its way back off to the north. It has the Orb of Corruption. It comes bearing gifts, as the Mountain King now, while trying to make its way out. One peasant is on repair. Lich is going to go ahead, perhaps get some damage onto those peasants. Getting a Frost Nova would finish it off. There goes one there as the peasant now trying to retreat back. All right, more peasants, new peasants trying to make their way back over. Triple repair. Is it going to be enough? It could be enough right there. Meanwhile, we are looking for pressure on the other side here. We are looking at one destroyer. Water Elemental is going to go ahead and try to go after that destroyer. A little bit of Devour Magic. Meanwhile, back off to the north, Mountain King is out onto the battlefield, but he is stuck. He is stuck right now, unable to do very much. And it looks like 120 is going to have the benefit of unstucking that Mountain King um, for for Fortitude. There goes that Altar of Kings now. Mountain King back across here. More damage getting added across onto some of those buildings. Are we going to see ghouls trying to engage? We are looking at a low hit point footman about to get taken out. No, it is backed up again. Obsidian Statue is out here on the battlefield. There goes a ghoul. That Claws of Attack plus 10, making a big difference. Overall plus 12 damage when you factor in that Circlet of Nobility. Flying machines now getting thrown in here into the mix as well. Stormbolt onto the Lich, and beautiful timing by Fortitude, waiting until the Lich was within range of the Arcane Tower, and then throwing the Stormbolt. And then once the Stormbolt was down, it is now completely draining out the mana there. However, now needs to go after the Death Knight. That Arcane Tower should have been trying to burn down the mana on the Death Knight instead. Instead, 120 was able to properly retreat. Meanwhile, Archmage now coming back across here. We are getting up the barracks. We should be getting up the keep to castle to try to go into knights. We are, well, flying machines are up here. We are perhaps going to get a little bit of units trying to get caught in transit. 120 being forced to retreat back to your reinforcements. Going to be a bit slow, and we're looking at a 51 supply compared to 48 supply armies. What is important to note, though, is, well, Fortitude does have the expansion, but Fortitude is also in low upkeep by 1. All right, Mountain King should be trying to make its way out right now. Why is it still holding position in the back? We're looking at Footman, but with Defend, Archmage trying to fight back across here. Goblin Shredder only, well, with so many units only being able to take down one of those Crypt Fiends. That is a very big deal, as the Destroyers are going to perhaps try to devour magic and perhaps finish off some more Water Elementals. Another Water Elemental getting finished off here. Goblin Shredder caught out in open field, giving level 3 to the Lich. Level 3 Lich, level 3 Death Knight. Guard Tower still putting in pressure across here. Mountain King Archmage just holding back, watching their own castle burn for a little bit of time as the flying machines are really trying to finally engage. Are we perhaps going to get a Stormbolt onto some of these units? Footmen with Defend. Are we going to be able to catch any of those Crypt Fiends as they retreat back out? That's what Fortitude's trying to do. And well, Crypt Fiend still staying alive. Frost armor coupled with Death Coil from the Death Knight, keeping as a hit point buffer, as more and more low hit point footmen still trying to lead the charge. Mountain King does not have enough mana. We're looking at more damage coming across. Finally, Peasants getting taken down. 120 can finish off a very low hit point footman if it just tries to focus fire. There it goes. As the Archmage continuing the battle it through once again, another footman getting taken out, and battle is just going in favor of 120 constantly, down to 50 or 45 supply compared to 51. As well, the flying machines are just constantly getting webbed into oblivion, unable to go after those destroyers, opening up the destroyers to take down those footmen with ease. Knights are now coming back out onto the battlefield here. I don't see enough riflemen, and I don't see any flying machines here. 48 over 72 supply. More knights should be gathered in, as the paladin is going to be added in here as well. There doesn't seem to be enough gold, even though, well, Fortitude was up on bases for so long. Flying machines gathering around here. We're going to see a strong counterattack coming in from Fortitude in just a moment. And, well, I've said this before, the army of 120 not going to be able to put that much pressure on the castle. And right now, really what Fortitude is doing is just buying himself time. There goes another Crypt Fiend getting taken out. 51 supply compared to 51. Peasants could start to be retrained once more, as of this castle taking a fair amount of damage. And we are now finally seeing, well, Stormbolt right there. All right, Water Elemental. Death Knight does have a get out of jail free card. Fly Machine's going to go after the destroyers. Quick web down now. And are we going to see them overstay the welcome here? 120, what is he doing? Trying to stay here, as we're going to see the Paladin now online, keeping that Mountain King and all of those other units alive and well as well. Death Knight really hoping to, well, stick around in this battle and somehow come out ahead. I don't believe he's going to be able to do so. And really, it is just one of Fortitude who is starting to take the advantage back once more. Oh, Death Coil saving that Lich once again. Did take down a couple of Knights, and it was 120's micro play saving that Lich and enabling him to actually take down a Knight that I still say gives a little bit of an advantage back to 120. That Lich was so dangerously low on hit points for so many times in so many situations. If that Lich had fallen, that advantage would have gone completely over to 120 instead, or sorry, to Fortitude instead. 120 still comes out of that fight smelling like a rose as we're looking at the Mountain King trying to pick up some additional things. All right, Orb of Fire finally on that Archmage, plus 19 attack, but more importantly, that very, very nasty, oh, come on, Holy Light, yes, saving that Footman right there, who would have perhaps, no, would have almost been taken out. No Priest at all to keep the units alive, instead going for knights and flying machines and using the scrolls of regeneration. Perhaps no scroll of regeneration. Nope, no scroll of regeneration. Um, Staff of Sanctuary? Is there a Staff of Sanctuary? I don't know. No Staff of Sanctuary either. All right, quick Knight getting destroyed right there. No point in Staff of Sanctuary when all of a sudden your opponent is just pressuring your main base anyway. Are we going to see a Stormbolt? No Stormbolt either. A little bit of head scratching moves. Fortitude could have at least storm bolted a fleeing Crypt Fiend to try and get that last bit of damage. Knights do not have animal war training. Unit's going to try and engage here. There goes a water elemental and taken down once more. Flying machines are not trying to engage. Knights are coming back across here, getting in that very strong damage here. Paladin trying to back away once more. And what is going on? Dark Ranger going to be in a little bit of trouble, down to 273 hit points. Orb of Fire is really reducing the amount there as the Lich, well, finds himself in a little bit of problem. Paladin also finds himself in a problem. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability transferred again. And this is just looking like a great fight for 120. Stormbolt, however, goes on onto the Lich. And is it going to be enough to finish it off? Let's take a look. Death Knight unable to get the Death Foil off there. Dark Ranger is still out here. Knights, Militia trying to come here and continue to engage. 51 supply compared to 48. As well, without any Stormbolt and no way to really stun down these units, the Knights, well, gets a surround onto this Abomination, and it looks like that Abomination will get taken down finally as the Dark Ranger gets to level 2 as well. 50 supply compared to 44. Crypt Fiends, Dark Ranger, Lich, resurrected at the tavern, already back in play. Mountain King and Paladin both getting resurrected at the shop. Doesn't have any way to really heal the Archmage or any of the units. Does have an Orb of Fire, and is he going to try and back away once more? One Water Elemental there could get in some damage again. That Water Elemental trying to back up as the Knights are trying to get into position. All right, rather strange spot. More Knights need to get trained on up here. A lot of peasants trying to mine from the gold mines as we're looking at the Goblin Shredder joining in on the fight. All right, there's one Holy Light, 200 hit points. Doesn't last very long in taken down. Dark Ranger, well, with those black arrows, as the Lich does have, well, Dark Ritual should be able to convert some of those without much of a problem. Going after Obsidian Statues is absolutely critical and key as more and more damage getting in. All right, Knight is going to be able to finish off that Obsidian Statue. There it goes as the Paladin now tries to back away. All right, Lich didn't have enough mana. Finally, with enough mana, goes for a Frost Nova onto a Knight instead. Archmage gets up to level 5. All that damage getting added in. 51 supply compared to 49. Lich now trying to get away, being able to run away pretty freely as there is no way to easily stun all of these units. Knights unable to catch up to Crypt Fiends with Unholy Aura. As we're looking at this Crypt Fiend there, well, getting left behind, and without that Unholy Aura, just doesn't move fast enough, being forced to be Dark Ritual instead to deny mana. Water Elementals getting taken down. Another one going to get taken down there. Death Knight up to level 5, opening up well, the hero damage and nuking abilities of the Undead Army. Paladin, Mountain King now finally back together. 49 supply compared to 46. Archmage going to go ahead and head on over. Giant Water Elemental ready to be brought into position. Mountain King with plenty of mana as well. Paladin needs to get some healing going as just buying time at this point is key. Perhaps Fortitude knows that his opponent doesn't have the expansion, and there's still probably about 5 or 4 minutes of mining left at 120's main base. But if he can force his opponent to stay here much longer, well, that's going to be good news for him. Archmage going to try to continue to put Obsidian Statues are here as well. That's, well, trying to get the Mountain King into damage position, trying to find a little bit of damage somewhere as the Paladin all of a sudden gets silenced. Potion of Healing doesn't help him for very long as he gets taken down so quickly. Paladin falls again at level 1. Mountain King is right here. Knights were able to get behind enemy lines and then are starting to try and perhaps take down more of these units. Another Knight comes into position here. Is the Mountain King going to land a Stormbolt? That is the question again. Finding a Stormbolt. There you go. And there, well, saved saved again by another death coil. The Crypt Fiends constantly find their way to, well, stay alive here. Knights continuing to charge back in, diving on into these positions. Water Elementals are all in position. Archmage does finally have a Staff of Sanctuary. Stormbolt now onto a Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend gets Dark Ritualed again. 62 supply compared to 50 as 120 finally breaks into low upkeep to try and win out with the army size. All right, 47 supply compared to 58. Archmage continuing all of that pressure again. Another Skeletal Minion gets taken down. No, it's 58 compared to 47. I'm sorry, my supplies were swapped. One Fortitude getting into a low upkeep again. 120 sitting at 47 supply. All right, that paladin does get resurrected rather quickly. Where is that paladin? Only sitting at level 1 right there. Once it gets to level 2, 5 more experience is all that it takes. The knights do not have animal war training or any upgrades whatsoever. Knight actually taking a little bit of damage here as the, well, Mountain King should be able to land in the Stormbolt. Obsidian statues getting in some damage once more. Are we going to see, well, perhaps a turnaround? Water elementals being dropped. Mountain King trying to lead in the back again as the Death Knight going after here. Fortitude is doing a great job just baiting his opponent into making this game go longer and longer, and that's exactly what he wants to see happen. The question is, does 120, well, have enough to finish off his opponent? That is the key question. As well, an obsidian statue going to get taken down. There goes one obsidian statue. Archmage, Scroll of Town Portal trying to be saved right there. Where is it teleporting off to? Where there goes, teleports back off to the side here. Are we going to see a Holy Light? Does save it just a little bit as more damage added back in. All right, Stormbolt onto the Abomination. 120 in a little bit of trouble. Orb of Fire preventing much of that heal right there as more heals go down. Staff of Sanctuary saves another Knight as more Knights are going to be joining in on the battlefield again. All right, are the Knights going to be able to finish off more of these Crypt Fiends? 66 supply compared to 54. 120 while trying to hang on, but may not be able to do exactly that. Wow, a Crypt Fiend escapes at 47 hit points, and it looks like it will be able to survive. The Knights now with faster, or with that movement speed, able to catch up on that distance once more. There goes another Crypt Fiend and another, and it looks like Fortitude has outlasted his opponent, getting that economic advantage long enough while his opponent doesn't have an expansion of his own. Flying Machine still off over here. No Destroyers going to be coming down, and the Archmage still trying to retreat back, and that is the game. 120 unable to finish off, even though he had the hero level advantage. That was a very quick, well, just a sign of a game between the tortoise versus the hare. And, well, Fortitude, well, 120, what he really needed to do was he needed to deal terrible damage to his opponent quickly. He needed off of one base to get enough of an advantage early on, enough to where his opponent, even though he had two bases, wouldn't be able to catch up. It looked like that was going to be the case for a very long time. 120 with the level 5 Death Knight landing in those death coils, being able to save that Lich during that counter attack, or trying when there was when Fortitude was trying to save that castle. It felt like 120 may have overstayed his welcome, but he timed that so perfectly, being able to just take down Knights and then come back and try to dish out more. Ultimately, in the end, though, 120, even though the final score is only a 1,000 points difference between the two, 120 knew if as the game progressed, especially because of the expansion, still mining gold, that things were just not going to go well for him, and his score would just quickly plummet. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Who won? What Fortitude won. 120 ultimately lost in the end. It was a great matchup, right up until the end, right there. And yeah, Fortitude, hats off, just being able to stay calm and cool under unrelenting pressure to hold off that attack. Thanks again.